to address, sir, what you just said, which is that you inherited the worst inflation crisis in modern American history, and you are fixing it in 10 short months. And your entire administration has been tasked with this effort, from Treasury Department to Agriculture Department to the National Economic Council right here at the White House. They are slashing regulation.
What if I told you that the president just accidentally admitted that you are paying for something he promised other countries would pay for? And when a reporter caught him red-handed, his excuse was so crazy that the entire internet is roasting him. Someone even collapsed during this wild press conference. And what happened next will shock you. But before we jump in, do me a huge favor. Smash that subscribe button and hit the like button right now. Trust me, you'll want to follow this channel. Let's get into it. Part 1, the press conference that went completely off the rails. Trump held a press conference recently, and it was absolutely insane. Even by Trump standards, this one was wild. Trump is talking about jobs and the economy, doing his usual thing. Then suddenly, someone in the room collapsed. Just straight up fell down during the press conference. Trump stops and goes, "You okay, Gordon? You okay? Thank you, press. Cameras, we're done rolling." After this happened, people started sharing a photo from that exact moment, calling it a perfect picture of what America is going through right now. It's like one of those images that tells a whole story without words. But it gets even better. The far-right news network Newsmax had a crazy first reaction. They didn't ask if the person was okay. Their first thought was to make sure everyone knew that Trump was okay. They literally said on air, "You're looking live right now. President Trump, we want to be clear, is okay." Someone just collapsed and they're worried about whether Trump is fine? That's wild. Here's the craziest part. After they helped the person who collapsed, they just continued the press conference like nothing happened. Business as usual, they picked up right where they left off. And honestly, that sums up how things are going in America right now. During this press conference, Trump started talking about numbers and economics. The math wasn't mathing. He tried to do calculations on the spot and it was rough. He was throwing around huge numbers, saying nobody has ever seen numbers like this before. He claimed that under Biden, the economy was at less than $1 trillion for 4 years, but under him, it would be at 21 trillion in just 1 year. He said no country in history has ever done anything like that, but economists who actually know math pointed out that these numbers don't make sense, like at all. But Trump kept going, saying he's the most competent president and that's why these amazing things are happening. This brings us to the main topic, tariffs. Trump spent a lot of time talking about tariffs, and pretty much everything he said wasn't exactly true. But before we get into the big tariff confession that broke the internet, I need to tell you about another lie he told. This one is really important because it shows how he twists facts to make himself look good. Part 2, the China deal that isn't actually a good deal. Trump started bragging about this new deal with China. He was super proud. He said China agreed to buy 12 million metric tons of American soybeans this year, and he made it sound like the greatest deal ever made. He said, "We made a wonderful deal for everybody, our farmers, with the soybeans at levels nobody's ever seen before." Wait, we were able to make phenomenal deals. If we didn't have the tariffs, we wouldn't have been able to do that. So basically, he's saying without tariffs, this amazing soybean deal would never have happened. He's painting himself as a master negotiator who just saved American farmers. But here's the truth Trump forgot to mention. This deal is actually worse than what China normally buys anyway. Let me break this down. Trump is bragging about China buying 12 million metric tons of soybeans this year. Yes, they also agreed to buy 25 million metric tons per year for the next 3 years. Sounds good, right? Wrong. In 2024, when Biden was president, China bought almost 27 million metric tons. That's more than what Trump's phenomenal deal gets us. So Trump basically cut our soybean sales in half at first. And now he's celebrating a deal that's still worse than what we had under Biden, but he's acting like he just won the Olympics. It's like if someone stole your bike, then gave you back a tricycle and expected you to thank them. That's basically what's happening with the soybeans. But the soybean lie isn't even the craziest thing Trump said about tariffs. He also claimed that tariffs are ending wars around the world. Yes, wars. Trump said that out of 8 wars he ended, 5 or 6 were ended because of tariffs. Then he gave this example about India and Pakistan. He said they were fighting, shooting down planes, and they're both nuclear countries. And according to Trump, he just said to them, "Listen, if you guys are going to fight, I'm going to put tariffs on you." And boom, war over. Just like that, because of tariffs. I've never heard of any war being ended because one country threatened to put taxes on imported goods. That's not how wars work, but Trump said it with a straight face, like this is just common knowledge. And this is where things get really interesting, because a reporter finally had enough of these tariff lies and decided to ask Trump a simple, direct question. A question that would make Trump accidentally admit the truth about who's really paying for these tariffs. But before I tell you what happened next, let me ask you, are you enjoying this video? If you are, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe now, because we're about to get to the juiciest part. Part 3, the moment Trump accidentally told the truth. Alright, here's where everything falls apart for Trump. A reporter stood up and asked him a simple question. Do you agree that Americans are paying for these tariffs? Trump has been saying for years that other countries pay for tariffs. He said it over and over. China pays for it, Mexico pays for it, not Americans. But when this reporter asked him directly, something crazy happened. Trump actually admitted that yes, Americans might be paying for it. His exact words were, I think no, I don't agree. I think that they might be paying something, but when you take the overall impact, the Americans are gaining tremendously. Wait, what? They might be paying something? That's very different from other countries pay for it all, isn't it? Then Trump tried to justify why it's okay that Americans are paying for tariffs. And guys, his excuse is absolutely wild. He said Americans are gaining through national security. And get this, he said he's ending wars because of these tariffs, and Americans would have to fight in some of these wars if he wasn't using tariffs. Let me repeat that. Trump is saying it's okay for Americans to pay for tariffs because these tariffs are preventing imaginary wars that Americans would have to fight in. The reporter literally got Trump to admit that not only do Americans pay for the tariffs, but we also don't get anything real in return. We're paying for national security from wars that aren't actually happening. This is absolutely insane, and the internet went crazy. People started pointing out that if tariffs just go back to the government, then tariffs are basically a big tax on the American people. It's money coming out of your pocket and going to the government. And here's what makes this even funnier. You know who hates taxes? Republicans. You know who loves Trump's tariffs? Also Republicans. Trump literally tricked Republicans into begging for more taxes. He just called it a different name, and they fell for it. Think about it. Republicans always talk about how taxes are bad, how we need to cut taxes. But then Trump says, hey, I'm going to add tariffs, which are literally just taxes on imported goods. And Republicans are cheering him on. It's actually kind of genius in a twisted way. He found a way to make Republicans love taxes by calling them something else. But wait, there's more. Because this press conference had one more big lie. And this one involves Walmart Thanksgiving dinner, and a very sneaky trick that almost everyone fell for. Part 4, the Walmart Thanksgiving scam. During this press conference, a reporter who was sucking up to Trump asked him about a new report from Walmart. According to this report, a traditional Thanksgiving meal would cost 25% less this year compared to last year under Biden. The reporter was basically kissing up to Trump, saying this was an amazing achievement and that Trump was saving lives. Trump loved it. He said Walmart came out with a very powerful statement. They said that under the Biden administration, a Thanksgiving meal costs 25% more. In other words, our Thanksgiving this year will cost 25% less than Biden's. To me, that's better than anything there is. That's better than a poll. Wow, that sounds great, right? Thanksgiving dinner is 25% cheaper under Trump? Amazing news. Except, it's not true. At all. It's actually a completely misleading lie. Let me explain what Walmart actually did, because this is sneaky. Last year, Walmart's Thanksgiving meal bundle had 29 items in it. This year, it only has 15 items. That's almost half the items removed. What did they remove? Just small stuff like pecan pie, cranberry sauce, whipped cream, mini marshmallows, corn muffin mix, fresh sweet potatoes, celery, and onions. No big deal, right? Just some of the most important Thanksgiving items. And it gets worse. Last year's bundle had lots of name brand items. Ocean Spray, Campbell's, French's, Marie Callender's. This year, they replaced most of those with Walmart's own Great Value brand, the cheap store brand. So let me get this straight. They removed half the items, replaced the name brands with cheap store brands, and it's still only 25% cheaper? That actually proves prices are going up, not down. If they cut out half the stuff and downgraded everything else, and it's only a little bit cheaper, that means the actual items got way more expensive. It's like if I sold you a car last year for $20,000, and this year I say, great news, the car is now only $15,000. But when you look closer, this year's car has no doors, no air conditioning, and runs on 3 wheels. Is that really a better deal? The fact that that Trump is running with this and acting like it's proof his economic policies are working? That's embarrassing. Research shows Americans are actually paying much more for tariffs than Trump admits. Studies found that the average American household is paying an extra $1,200 to $1,600 per year because of these tariffs. Goldman Sachs found that Americans are paying more than 55% of the tariff costs. The tariff rate on imports has jumped to nearly 18%, up from just 2.4% before Trump came back to office. And you know what's really sad? The people hurt most by this are the people who can barely afford groceries already. Lower income Americans are trying to juggle their bills, deciding whether to buy food or pay for medicine, skipping car payments to keep the lights on. And these tariffs just make everything more expensive for them, but Trump keeps lying about it, and stores like Walmart are helping him lie by putting out misleading reports. So what does this all mean? Where do we go from here? Let me wrap this up for you. Part 5, what this all really means for you. Let's look at the big picture. What we just watched is Trump admitting something huge. His entire economic plan is built on lies. He's been telling Americans for years that tariffs don't cost us anything, that other countries pay for them. But when pushed by a reporter, he admitted Americans are paying for them. And his excuse? National security and preventing wars that don't exist. That's not a real benefit. That's just word salad. The truth is, tariffs are taxes. When Trump puts a tariff on goods from China, Mexico, or Canada, American companies pay that tax when importing. Then they pass that cost to you by raising prices. You're paying more for your phone, clothes, furniture, groceries. Everything imported costs more because of tariffs. Studies show American households are paying over $1,000 extra per year because of Trump's tariffs. And that's money out of your pocket. Money you could use for rent, food, your kids' education, or emergencies. And for what? Trump says national security, but factory jobs have decreased since tariffs started. Manufacturing activity has gone down. The tariffs haven't brought back American jobs as promised. And those wars Trump claims he's preventing? No evidence. Countries don't stop fighting because another country threatens to tax their exports. We're paying more and getting nothing real in return. Then there's the Walmart Thanksgiving scam. Trump is pointing to a misleading sale promotion and acting like it's proof inflation is down. But reality is different. Grocery prices are still high, about 2.7% higher than a year ago and 1.4% higher than when Trump took office in January. Prices are going up, not down, but Trump is lying. And Walmart is helping him lie. Many will believe these lies. They'll hear Thanksgiving is 25% cheaper and think Trump is helping. They won't check what's in that bundle or realize they removed half the items. They'll hear tariffs are ending wars and think he's a genius. They won't realize there's zero evidence. That's why fact-checking is important. Don't just accept what politicians say. Dig deeper. Look at actual data. Trump has been caught in lies before. He said Mexico would pay for the wall. They didn't. He said his tax cuts would pay for themselves. They didn't. He said his 2018 tariffs would bring back manufacturing jobs. They didn't. The average tariff rate under Trump is now the highest since 1941. That's over 80 years. These are the highest import taxes America has seen since before World War II. Economists warn this will hurt the economy. Studies predict Trump's tariffs could reduce GDP by 6 to 8% and wages by 5 to 7%. That means slower growth and lower paychecks. A middle-income household could lose $22,000 to $58,000 over their lifetime because of these tariffs. That's real money that could change someone's life. But Trump doesn't talk about that. He just keeps saying everything is great, prices are down, we're winning. So what can you do? First, stay informed. Watch videos like this that break down what's really happening. Don't get news from just one source. Second, understand that when politicians talk about tariffs, they're talking about taxes you pay. Don't let them fool you. A tariff is a tax on imports, and that cost gets passed to consumers. Third, hold politicians accountable. If they lie, call them out. Vote based on what politicians do, not just what they say. This press conference showed when you ask Trump directly if Americans are paying for tariffs, he can't keep the lie. He admits it, and his excuse is ridiculous. This is your money, your family's financial security. Don't let anyone tell you that paying more for everything is good because of vague benefits they can't prove. You deserve better than lies and misleading promotions. You deserve a government that's honest and actually makes your life more affordable. So there you have it. The truth behind Trump's press conference, his tariff confession, and the Walmart scam. I hope this opened your eyes. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and share it with friends and family. The more people who know the truth, the better. Subscribe so you don't miss future videos. Drop a comment below. Do you think Trump's tariff policies are helping or hurting Americans? Are you paying more for groceries? I want to hear from you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video where we expose the truth and hold leaders accountable. Peace out.